Well, Christmas is now less than a week away, and now is the time to start really figuring out your main course, you know, the centerpiece of the feast. And on this Food City Friday, our registered dietitian, Nicole Pazdziorko, has some festive, delicious ideas. Nicole, great to have you back.
Yes, well, it's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
It's kind of crunch time when it comes to like your big meal.
We are gearing up for the craziness of Christmas and Christmas Eve. Hopefully it's time for people to relax by then. But this will hopefully be simplified, and we've got some tips for making maybe some leaner, healthier choices when it comes to Christmas dinner.
And you've got such a wonderful meat department. I know everybody back there is so helpful when it comes to how to prepare that cut of meat.
Yes, our full service meat department has certified butchers that can help with custom cuts, preparation tips, recipe inspiration, really you name it, and they can help. But I recommend starting with a leaner option, especially if you're talking about beef. I know, turkey and ham are certainly viable options, but when it comes to beef, a lot of questions kind of come in about what's lean, what's going to be lower in saturated fat, and tenderloin is one of those options that's really succulent, really tender, as the name suggests, and it comes from the loin. So that means it's going to have less total and saturated fat per ounce, and it's still going to provide about 20% of the daily value of iron and zinc recommendations. So really helpful for building blood and building immune health during this time of year.
Which we all need because 'tis the season for cough, cold, flu, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
How did you prepare your meat here?
Yes.
This is beautiful, by the way. Presentation's amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, and so what I would recommend actually is you can try dry brining the day before. And what that's going to do is dry out the surface, draw the moisture from the surface of the meat. And so that's going to result in a nice crispy exterior that we like and a tender interior. And so you can simply apply some dried rosemary. You can certainly do chopped fresh rosemary and some salt and pepper seasoning. Leave that in the refrigerator, a little bit of a covering overnight, and then it'll be good to go when it comes time to cook it. And then when it comes time to preparing it, searing it beforehand for about 12 to 15 minutes. Again, that's going to give that nice crispy dark exterior, and then it goes into the oven at about 425 for 15 minutes. Now, it will continue to cook after you take it out of the oven. Okay. It'll rise about 5 to 10 degrees in temperature, so you want to remove that a little bit sooner depending on the level of doneness that you like.
And I always like that too, because then when you're cutting it, it seems like people can have, if they want it a little more done, they can be on the outside.
Absolutely, that's a good point. So on the interior, of course, it's going to be a little more rare if you like that, and on the outside a little bit more done. And then a great pairing for this is going to be, of course, we want to get those vegetables, and so a variety of roasted vegetables are great. Here we have some roasted Brussels sprouts, perfect this time of year. You're going to get the vitamin C from that, and then a festive cranberry drizzle.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks beautiful.
And this is prepared with a little bit of vinegar, cranberry sauce. You can just buy cranberry sauce and shallots.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
Okay, lovely. And over here, this is beautiful.
Yeah, so another lean option is going to be sirloin. This time of year, it's even leaner than tenderloin, and it can be a little bit more of an affordable cut. This is a nut crusted sirloin. So we didn't do the sear on this one, but we have some Dijon and chopped pine nuts, a little bit of rosemary that is chopped and then spread around the exterior of the roast, and then it goes into the oven at a lower temperature for around an hour, again depending on your level of doneness that you like.
Oh my goodness, that nut crusted sounds so good.
Yes, and the Dijon is really, really flavorful and balances kind of the richness of the beef.
Oh, wonderful. And then you've paired that with some different carrots?
Yeah, so I love pairing this. You can do crispy garlicky green beans if you like, but today I've done some roasted parsnips and carrots with a little bit of a honey glaze afterwards. It's just delicious, and again, it balances the richness of the beef.
So how did you do your carrots and parsnips? By the way, these are so, I think a lot of people not real familiar with parsnips, but they're so good with carrots and other vegetables.
Yes, they're great roasted. You can certainly do them mashed as well. Now, I like doing them in a pan with a little bit of butter and olive oil, but you can also just roast them in the oven today, or today that's what I did. I'd roasted them in the oven for about 45 minutes at 400 degrees.
Okay, and then you glazed them with a
little bit of a honey glaze. You can certainly do a maple glaze, sweetener of your choice really, and so again, that's a little bit of vinegar and and the honey, maple syrup, olive oil, and you just whisk that until it kind of condenses a little bit.
And then you put that on at the very end?
Yes. Yeah, at the end. You don't want it to burn, and so the sugar can cause that, so at the end is best.
Yeah, and always line your pan with some parchment paper.
That'll help when it comes to cleanup time, won't it?
How many times have I had to just throw away the pan because the honey or the maple syrup has just
It's just too much effort.
It is, yes. We're gonna start all over. These are wonderful tips, and of course you've got some recipes and everything for us.
Absolutely. So you'll get the recipes, post them online. Of course, people can go to foodcity.com and find these recipes as well.
Some wonderful options. Either of these would look beautiful as the centerpiece for your holiday table. Nicole, always great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everybody. Some wonderful ideas. Foodcity.com for more.